Well, the owner's draw is not taxed. You are taxed on the profits of your business. Thank you for tuning in to Bible and Business with Brother Juan. I'm a certified Christian business coach and consultant, tax strategist for solopreneurs, and a strategic partner to help you build synergy in your business with bookkeeping. I empower Christianpreneurs to achieve freedom with virtual service-based entrepreneurship. Today, we're going to talk about benefits of starting an LLC. Benefits of starting an LLC. More specifically, we're going to look at some frequently asked questions. So we've been talking a lot about LLCs over the past few weeks. And so I wanted to take a brief moment to answer some of the frequently asked questions. So first of all, how do LLC owners get paid? Well, the LLC owner is not on payroll, so you don't receive a paycheck. In particular, I'm talking about single member LLCs. And so what you do is what's called an owner's draw. And simply, it means taking money out of the profits of your business. So you can do this by writing yourself a check or making a transfer from your business checking account to your personal checking account and documenting what that transfer is for. Next, what are the benefits of an LLC? Well, some of the benefits of an LLC include personal liability protection. There is some flexibility as far as taxes. It is an easy process to start up an LLC because, one, the paperwork is going to be less complicated. There is a bit of management flexibility within an LLC as well. And also, I believe that it gives you credibility, a greater credibility for your business by forming an LLC. Is an LLC better for taxes? The answer to that question is it depends. It depends on your individual tax situation. And since I don't know your individual tax situation, I really can't answer that question for you. But I will say, in general, an LLC is beneficial. Do LLCs pay more in taxes than sole proprietorship? Well, the default structure of an LLC is what the IRS refers to as a disregarded entity. And as a disregarded entity on the federal level, as far as with taxes, there is no difference between a single member LLC and a sole proprietorship. And so in general, the tax liability is going to be the same. However, LLCs can also elect to be treated as an S Corp, and there are some requirements, there are some compliance issues that you should be concerned about if you choose that route. And if it is beneficial for taxes, again, that's something that would have to be determined on an individual basis. Do I need an LLC if I'm self-employed? Well, the answer is based upon that one word in that question, and that is need. Do you need an LLC if you are self-employed? And the answer is no, but it is highly recommended. It is highly recommended. I think the only drawback from having an LLC is the cost of forming an LLC, which could be different depending upon the state that you reside. How is an owner's draw taxed in an LLC? Well, the owner's draw is not taxed. You are taxed on the profits of your business. And so as an owner's draw, you are simply withdrawing part of the asset that you have, or part of the assets that you have invested in that LLC. And you're not actually taxed on what you draw. And again, this is a single member LLC who's a disregarded entity. An S Corp would be a little different because you receive a distribution and not an owner's draw because you are on payroll with an S Corp. And so that distribution is taxed, but not at the same rate. And then you don't have self-employment taxes on that distribution from an S Corp. How do I create an LLC? Well, they're fairly easy to create. However, what dictates how you create one is going to be based upon the state in which you form that LLC, and I encourage you to form it in the state that you are residing in. And so the laws of that state in corporate formation and how it applies to LLCs, particularly single member LLCs, is going to be determined by the law of the state in which you reside. How much does an LLC cost? Well, the cost can be very vast. And again, this is often the determining factor that I see of whether or not somebody should actually form an LLC, because you can find it, the formation fees for LLC anywhere from $400 to closer to maybe $1,000. And again, that doesn't include the renewal certificate or the renewal report and the fees that are associated with that. And so most states are going to be $200 or less, but of course that is most, that's general, but the range could be anywhere between $40,000 and $1,000. How are LLCs taxed? LLCs are not taxed, but it also depends on your business structure on how the owners of the LLC will be taxed. What is pass-through taxation? Pass-through taxation is a system of taxation that generally applies to sole proprietorships, partnerships, LLCs, and S corporations. In this system, the profits or losses of a business are not taxed at the business level. Instead, those are passed through to the owner's personal tax return, and the tax of each owner's personal income tax is at their particular rate, their personal income tax rate. And so that is an advantage over a C Corp, which is double taxation. They're taxed at the corporate level, and they're also going to be taxed at the shareholder or owner's level through those distributions. Where should I form an LLC? In general, I believe that you should form the LLC in the state which you reside. So if you are going to form an LLC in, say, Delaware, and you don't live there, and you're going to conduct business in the state that you are in, well, that state's law may require you to form a foreign entity, foreign as in not originating in that state, in order to operate in that state. And so you may be doing more harm than good by trying to form a corporation in Delaware, where you may not have those income taxes if you're going to operate in a different state. So it's best to form your LLC in the state that you're going to operate in. Do I need a lawyer to form an LLC? Typically, you do not need a lawyer in order to form an LLC, especially if you have a single member LLC. If you are entering into a partnership, if you are forming a C corporation, I would strongly encourage you to seek legal advice. However, there are document process companies that will help you file an LLC in your state if you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself. Is it better to form an LLC or a DBA? A DBA is doing business as, some states refer to it as trade name. Either way, even as a sole proprietor, you can form a DBA, but that DBA does not provide you legal protection. It only gives you the authority to operate within that state using the name of that DBA. And so even with your LLC, you can choose to form your LLC, give your LLC a professional name, and then you can also apply to have a DBA for your LLC and actually operate under another name. And that is an advantage, because then your corporate paperwork has a professional name, and then your public persona is done in your DBA. And so if you have an LLC, you don't necessarily need a DBA, but it can be useful depending upon your plans for your business and how you choose to operate in not only presently, but in the future. All right, so this is Brother Juan. I hope y'all learned something today as we talked about benefits of starting an LLC and really looking at frequently asked questions. And I will see you next time.